this.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is your first time here, welcome to my beauty entertainment channel. Absolutely. So if you would like to follow me on social media, here's my suspended Twitter. Sorry. And then here's my Instagram. And then while you're here, you can check out some of my recent videos. Before this, I would have posted a video ranking the songs on Beyonce's 4. And then before that, I would have posted a video talking about Tinashe's new album 333. And then before that, I posted the video about my favorite books from this whole year, about like a month ago. So yeah, super exciting. So before we get into today's video is once again sponsored, so let's jump into the sponsorship. Today's video is sponsored once again by NordVPN. Thank you so much NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. So if you don't know what a VPN is, don't worry, you were not alone. I didn't know until pretty recently. It's basically like you're on your browser in incognito mode, so nobody can really see what you're doing. You're very private and it's very secure. One of the perks of NordVPN is that you're able to have up to 6 simultaneous connections. So you can have it on your phone, your laptop, your iPad, and other stuff. So I'm going to show you what it's like on my desktop computer. I use NordVPN as a way to diversify my television and movie things that I consume. I don't really use it for the other stuff. I go on Netflix and I press reload, and I keep pressing different countries until I find a show that I want to watch, because it will be there. I promise you it will be there. So you can go on Netflix and Hulu and other streaming services and change the country of the VPN and be able to see different shows. Like you can watch Modern Family without ads. You can watch some of the Jurassic World movies that might not be on the United States Netflix. You can also see if shows release on a streaming platform at a different time than they do in the United States. You can switch your VPN to a different country to be able to watch the show a little bit earlier. So NordVPN has super fast servers. It allows you to have up to 6 simultaneous connections. There's double data encryption, so for increase in anonymity. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can leave. It also protects your data while you're traveling in case you're a worldwide kind of person. There's also the cybersecurity suite, which acts as an ad blocker, so you don't get any of that nonsense when you're watching your shows. And there also is 24-hour, 7 days a week customer support in case you get stuck with something. So if any of that interests you, you can click the link in my description box or use the code AMANDAB to get a huge discount off a 2-year plan plus an additional 4 months free. Thank you so much again to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back into it. Okay, welcome back. So today we're going to be continuing my discovery, delving into discovery of the Avatar universe. So I finished up Avatar: The Last Airbender like a year ago. Really? I think it actually has been a year. Like a year ago. And then people were like, there's another show after. So I watched it. I watched Legend of Korra. That's what we're talking about today. And so I'm finishing up all 2 because people have told me to ignore the live action, and I'm going to take your word on it. I'm going to ignore that exists. And so these are the only 2 things that I have watched. So I wanted to talk today about The Legend of Korra. Okay, I said no more disclaimers. I know people get really serious over these 2 shows. It's not that serious. It's not serious enough to do whatever you're about to do in my comment section. There's bigger issues in the world. Okay, so that's my little disclaimer for right now. Hope we have a really enjoyable time together. So like all my videos about TV shows, I'm gonna talk about the characters, and then I'm gonna do like my thoughts on like the whole show in general, but I'll start with some. I really liked this show. I'm not ignoring Avatar discourse this whole time, but pretty much ignoring it because I didn't understand it. So I remember in fleeting, I remember seeing some things about like thoughts about this show and about the original show as well. But I don't remember a lot of people's thoughts on this show, so I have no idea. I'm not gonna share mine, and let's hope people don't get a little too crazy over it, because I thought this show was so fun. And not fun in like it was terrible, but it was fun. I thought it was good. Like, I thought it was actually very good, and I thought it was very interesting, but there's different reasons for that, etc. So I couldn't live tweet. So I did on my Patreon, I did like season by season videos. I didn't do one on season 4. I'm just making this video instead. I don't know if I will. Maybe if I rewatch the show, I could go back and do season 4. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, putting that out there because I was not able to live tweet at all. So let's start with, we're gonna start with the characters. We're gonna start with, I'm gonna rank the villains, the 4 seasons, because I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting because there were pretty clear cut villains. None of them really got a redemption arc or anything like that. So I wanted to share my opinions on all of them. So I think the worst villain, the worst villain is Unalaq, in my humble very knowledgeable opinion. I think he's a loser. And I think he's a bit of a geek. Unalaq doesn't know how to do anything. What does Unalaq do himself that he doesn't ask his young teenage children to do for him? What has he accomplished? What has he provided? What has he brought forth? What has he aided in? Nothing. Not like the other villains at least had a point. At least had a reasoning somehow, whether they were fraud or not, had some sort of reasoning as to what they wanted to do and why they wanted to do it. I was not believing Unalaq's conviction about whatever his goal was, which I really didn't really understand. He was not convincing me. He was not convincing me at all. I would like him to please explain what exactly you wanted in like a sentence or less. It makes no sense. It really honestly truly seems like he's a lost man who's trying to make up for some severe childhood insecurities. Maybe we could send you, you're dead now, right? Where's my brush? We could send you to the place that Lynn went to take care of her also ignored childhood traumas, but I think you weren't ignoring them. I think you were trying to avenge them. Why? Why must everyone else suffer because you were inadequate as a kid? I don't know why everyone has to why everyone has to take the brunt of it. All of these problems, it's not my fault. Anyways, it's not, I have to combine with basically a shadow devil in order to feel something again, because I haven't felt something since I was a preteen. No, it's not, there's no pride in that. There's no pride in that. He also seemed relatively weak. Until, he did morph with the shadow monster, of course. But that was after letting his creepy ass kids do all the dirty work and do all the brunt and make sure no one was in his way so he could do the very simple step of just walking into a portal. I think he's a loser. However, thank you for teaching Korra some spirity stuff, because we know Tenzin was no help. We know he was no help, so I do have to take a step back and I have to thank you, because yeah, we needed another teacher, and apparently a horribly insecure elderly man was better than Aang's son. All right, so that's Unalaq. Then I would say the third best, second worst villain, I'm gonna go with Amon. Less of a loser than Unalaq in my opinion, but a fucking fraud. So maybe not less of a loser. Why lie? It's because you wanted to be a part of something for the first time in your life, so you had to lie. Also, the mask, no, it didn't really make any sense to me. He at least had a reason though, and the reason made sense. It did make sense, he was doing a lot. And I thought he was doing a lot, but at least, there was a purpose. I still don't understand what Unalaq's goal was. Chaos, that's it? Nothing more. Now, what happens after I don't need to go to that. But maybe I'm misremembering or just like not remembering at all, but I'm confused as to how they thought he was like, I'm looking back now. I would have to rewatch the show probably to answer the question. Maybe I'm just not remembering. How did they think he was taking away people's bending? Magic? Like, how did they think he was taking? Now, I'm not saying your mind had to go immediately to blood bending, because, you know, it'd been a while. Qatar outlawed it. Like, it'd been a while. No one really thought of that. But, like, come on. We just thought he had what? He had a magical ability. You live in a world with benders, and you're like, we're still gonna go with magical ability to take people's bending. That didn't make any sense. Like, looking back, again, I would have to rewatch it from season 1, season 4. But looking, it doesn't make any sense to me, because I'm like, what else would be the explanation for that reason? So some of it was willful ignorance. Some of it was willful ignorance, but they were very, very upset their little equalist leader was a whole bender. Why are you a fraud? Why are you a fraud? And also, you're very bad at hiding it, because mom was getting a little brazen with the blood bending towards the end and got himself exposed. See what happens? See what happens? It does look good. Okay, now for tinted moisturizer. So, you know, not as much of a loser as Unalak, but it doesn't know. So then, no, this is right. This is right. So the second best villain, I'm gonna put Kuvira here. You know, I wish they'd explained a little bit. Do I really need to know why she was doing? I know she said why she was doing it, but I was still like, this is a lot. Like, you wanted to be there for the Earth Kingdom, because your parents abandoned you, so you didn't want to see your country it's just a little far for me, and it's a little, because how did prison camps come into that? I don't get it. Because I was writing it down before I watched the finale. I was like, are they gonna explain like why they've given a lot of other people like at least a chance to explain why they're doing this. So then I watched the finale, and she was like, yeah, she was basically said that because she was adopted, or like, no, her parents left her, she didn't want to see her country abandoned. Okay, so the next step was to conquer everybody, and if they didn't want to listen to you, put them in torture camps and build weapons of mass destruction with spirit like, I feel like we missed a step. I feel like we missed a step in the explanation, and was it cut out? Maybe I'm not supposed to understand. That's fine. I don't want to understand that. I don't want to understand that reasoning. But it was a bit confusing. Back to Kuvira. Kuvira was scary as shit. Kuvira was scary as shit because she took her job very, very seriously, and it was almost like there was nothing else to her than that, which was not like bad. It was just, she was scary. She was scary, and she took her job very, 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 very seriously, and if something got in the way, she said absolutely not. And whatever her like fiance man person is a bozo. I'm sorry, you were going to marry her, and you really thought she wouldn't, like, if she had the opportunity, you thought she was going to let you versus conquering everyone. Really? That's thinking very highly of yourself and ignoring everything that's right in front of you. So I think he's a bozo, but you know, that was kind of a given. She's really, really, really scary, and she never sounded unsure of herself or unconfident in herself, literally until they had those like robotic mosquitoes, because she never seen that shit before. Who's seen that shit before? That was the only time there was ever any sort of a nerve in her voice, which was scary. Oh, because she was succeeding. Maybe that's why she wasn't nervous. There was no way she wasn't succeeding, because she was conquering and putting people who disagreed with her into little camps. See, that's a little crazy. My thing was though, when she was so they went and so they heard that she was building the super weapon, and they heard that she was building the super weapon. They came back and described what the damage on the super weapon looked like, and yet still I felt that no one really took her seriously with said super weapon, or at least with what it could do, because they did come back and like explain that it can shoot through an entire mountain, but maybe they didn't use enough descriptive language, because they were very, very, very shocked. Of course you're gonna be shocked, because I mean, seeing it in person is gonna be a little bit different, like seeing the damage it can do. But no, they were quite shocked. They knew it destroyed a bunch of stuff. I feel like we could use better descriptors to warn what was coming, at least, because this is not some, like, this is not a gun, this is not a car, this is a super weapon. I thought we addressed that, but I think the only reason I put her at second instead of first is because I don't think she can fight as well as the people that I'm mentioning who I would say are first. However, I don't know where Kuvira learned to fight, but they need to send they need to send Korra's crew there up until last season to train a little bit, because wow. And we noticed Korra had to be poisoned for her to take her. Now listen, was she back? Sure, she was still healing. She was still healing, so back off of Korra. Back off of Korra a little bit on that one. Oh, I forget what colors I used last time. I forgot. I think it's these two. Okay. But she can really, really throw down. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that. She wasn't doing that the whole entire time. But I kind of was scared a little bit, because anyone who's like, I'm going to fight one-on-one with the Avatar is probably a little bit of a nutcase. A little bit. Even if, like, Korra just came back from being poisoned, and I should have known from that exact moment that she wasn't playing around. But I didn't. I do know now. And then for the best villains, I'm gonna give it to Sahir and his whole crew of people. I have to respect the four of them more than any. That's what's with me and villains. It's about respect. Maybe I don't agree with what you're doing, but it's about, do I respect you as a danger to society? Can I take you seriously as a menace to society? Unalaq, I laugh at, so the answer is no. However, for Zahir and the others, they had to show out and gain my respect in the way they broke out of those freaky ass prisons. That was really, really cool. I'm sorry, that was so cool. That was so cool. And like, I think this season showing, like season 3, showing a little bit more just exactly how, I guess, badass the villains are, really made it enjoyable. Because I didn't have to just like take it with a grain of salt. This is the villain. They're a bad person. You don't really know what they can do until they do it in like 6 episodes, but you're supposed to be scared of them or like nervous about what they could do, and take it with a grain of salt. In season 3, they kind of made them prove themselves, at least to me. At least to me, the viewer, in my knowledge of all the villainous arts. They did prove themselves to me, and they proved themselves pretty well, actually, I would say. I don't think Plea needed to die like that. I don't know. I said, really? Out of all 3 of them? Of course Zahir couldn't die, but I'm like, Lava Bender had to stay? We have a new Lava Bender. But anyway, that's beside the point. I think they were crazy as shit in terms of like their abilities. I still don't really even understand how they lost. I mean, I know. However, it's a little bit crazy because they were incredibly talented. You know how good at what you have to do. You know how good at what you have to do you have to be. That wasn't a real sentence. In order for them to make specialized prisons for you. In order for them to morph elements, pure elements, into a prison for you. because that's how dangerous you are. That's kind of cool. Like, that's kind of cool, at least to me. At least to me. Okay, Powder is next. Okay, so those are my rankings of the villain. It definitely is the Here and Others, then Kuvira, then Amon, then nonsense at the bottom. Then nonsense at the bottom. So now I'm going to go into the other characters. I don't really know what this category is called. This is basically everyone who's not in Korra's, like, Korra's core. That was kind of cute. Let me get my powder out though. But it's basically everyone who's not there, but some of these people could be there, I guess, technically, for like some seasons or whatever. Okay, so the first character we have up, we'll just do Julie and Varric. So the first character we have up is Julie. You know, I had no opinion on her until the last season. Thought it was kind of weird, but you know, kind of that girl. Didn't have to stand up to Kuvira, really didn't have to. I kind of figured, because I was like, they're really gonna have, I'm like, they're not gonna have like a traitor in this, really. Like, they're not really gonna do that. Like, it's still, I don't know. I was like, I don't think that's what the show is is trying to go for, is showing like a traitor. So I was hoping, and I was right. I was right. Julie said, I'm not listening. I'm not listening. You know, Julie, your relationship with Varric is a little bizarre, but I'm not going to infringe on your business right now. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend time on that. However, I do think that's bizarre. But I don't live your life, so I'm going to move on. Moving on to Varric. I think Varric actually now, I think he's amazing comedic relief. Did I dislike him strongly? Not really. He kind of did bad things, but it didn't make me horribly dislike him as a person. When he fucked over Asami, I had to, no, you can't do that. But I became indifferent towards him very, very quickly. So I think he's funny. He's also very smart, and he did change, or whatever, like escaping jail did wonders for him, because he changed almost immediately after taking advantage over a bunch of people. It was like night and day. So, you know, maybe getting out of prison can do wonders for people. Let's hope this stays. Okay, next two characters, moving on to the little Air Nation a little bit. Next character is Iki and Milo. They're fun. Iki's cute. Milo also is cute. The handful. Woof. Woof. But they're like that. And they're actually like not messing around. They're like young. They're not really that young. But they be holding their own in these little battles they send themselves into, because they're always like, this place is too dangerous for you, Milo. And then they need them anyway, because they know they can actually kind of do what they are supposed to be doing. They're not helpless, which I appreciate, because like kids aren't always helpless, especially if they were the only like 5 airbenders left in the world. They're probably not going to be very helpless, right? Where's my bronzer? Okay. And people are like, people might be like, I don't know. Well, they're not fighting them up close. Are you? No. I know the answer to that is no. So maybe just a little bit. Okay, and then after Iki and Milo go to their sister, Jinora, I would first like to say Jinora's a master. An airbending master. I would like to say that one more time. An airbending I don't know how old she is, but she is young. An airbending master at a childish age. And it's not even just an airbending master. It's being probably, besides the Avatar, the most spiritually in tune person in the world. What have you accomplished? Nothing. Nothing. Certainly not that. Certainly not that. Certainly not that. And yes, the most spiritually in tune person in the world, Sans Avatar. And she's also, see, this is what I was talking about. I could put her in the Avatar's like inner circle, because she's been intricately involved in the Avatar's successes for like the most part. Like who else besides the Avatar can do what she can do? And I don't even know if Korra can do that stuff. I don't even know if she can do that stuff. Back to Jinora though. You know, sometimes you don't need to tell off your parents. I do support that. I do support telling off your parents. And Tenzin's hard-headed ass really needed to hear that. I don't know why he needed to hear that there's a possibility that his daughter could be better at something than him. Not really sure what was up with that. But he did need to hear it so he could stop acting like he is so special. We understand that you're Aang's son. We understand that you're Aang's son, who was the only airbender. You're not anymore. So that superiority complex did have to go. We understand you're the one who looks the most like him. We don't care. We don't care, exactly. And he had to put it aside. And he did, but he needed to be yelled at by a 13-year-old. So, and he did have to put it away because he got pounded by a mallet by Zahir and the Doomsday Squad. Like, you're dealing with some very, very serious villains. There's no time. There's no time for all of this talk at Amba's ego. My blush, that's what I was looking for. Okay. But that's Jinora. Jinora, I think she's very cool. Okay. A hair. Next character. Boomy. I have no thoughts. Like, fun. Loud. But fun. I have no thoughts. Okay. Next character is Kaya. Bad bitch, but I could have told you that. I wish we could have learned anything about her. Literally anything. Literally anything. I wish we could have learned literally anything about her. That was weird. But because I could have told you she would hold her own against Zahir, at least for a little bit, because that's Katara's daughter. So that was a little bit given. But I wish we could have anything about her, because we're still kind of, we don't know. We don't know. But anyways, I'll move on. Next character is Tenzin. You know, asshole is a strong word, because not everyone who does asshole things is an asshole. But he was harsh. He was stomping and screaming in other people, I don't know who raised him like that, in other people's houses, because he was demanding them to do what he wanted them to do, no question. What happened to free will? I understand your culture is like coming back to you, and like this really crazy event gave you hope that there might be a chance for you to get what you had lost back. However, it didn't need to take going to every single airbender house to realize that your methods were flawed and your methods were abrasive. I don't know why it took you so long. I thought the airbenders were in tune with respecting other people and always keeping the peace, but there's no peace when you want to demand people come join your airbending cult. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And back to the ego I was discussing earlier. One, we've discussed how your daughter can be better at you than something. That was sad to realize, wasn't it? Tragic. Also, you and your siblings did not have the same life because he was acting like a bit of an idiot. You know that he was not in all of your siblings' lives the same way. Bit of a deadbeat. You know Aang was a bit of a deadbeat. Please stop acting dense for yourself. I know to keep his own childhood perfect in his head, but it's not doing your siblings, who you have to live with right now, because guess who's here with you right now? Your siblings. It's not doing them any favors for you to be flying around acting like everyone else's life was the exact same as yours. You know that's not right. And they only did that, they only like talked about that for like one episode, which was fine. Like they didn't need to do that any more than that. But I wish we'd seen at least it somewhat get, not resolved, but them at least come to terms with it as like a group of siblings is the group version of brother and sister. As siblings, coming to terms with the fact that, you did have a different experience with dad. And I was wondering, because when Boomy got airbending, I thought they were going to bring up like family dynamics once he got it. They didn't. I guess they didn't have time because there was so much shit going on. There was so much shit going on. There was no time to bring up how that could have potentially change some family dynamics if he wished. Like women was fine with not being a bender at all, and then all of a sudden he is one, and then, you know, his whole life he was trying to make up for not being a bender, like his whole time. That's why he did all of this shit, did all the commander shit, and they just never brought that up once he became an airbender. There was no time. I understand that, but bring it down, Tenzin. And then I already discussed Janora's more spiritual than you, or more in tune with spirits than you. Are you sad about it? That's really sad. Shouldn't you be proud? Isn't that a good reflection on you as a teacher, that your student, your daughter, is the most spiritually in tune person in the world? I would be proud of that. But no, we're gonna waste time pouting. We're gonna waste time pouting, and we're gonna keep putting off her getting her master tattoos as if that's gonna make her less good at her job or make her grow up slower. The whole like dads not wanting their daughters to grow up thing has never made any sense to me, because I'm like, what do you guys think aging is? Like, do you think it's something that can be stopped? Like, by you ignoring the fact that Janora is ready to get her tattoos, right? So you not giving them to her because you're like, okay, I don't want her to grow up too fast. Is that going to somehow make her de-age? Is that going to make her become less good at what she's doing? I would hope not, because didn't you train her well? I thought so. I thought so. Okay, and then the next character is Korra's dad. So, I have no real opinions here. I just wanted to say something about his relationship with Unalaq, his brother. Your brother is a nutcase. There's no question. It would be almost too much to go into Unalaq's very, very clear inferiority complexes. You know, no. However, you didn't need to destroy and drown that forest. Unalaq didn't do that. Unalaq didn't make you do that. That was weird. They didn't banish you, you know, unjustly. You know, he did lie and he did trick you, but you didn't need to drown the forest, sir. You didn't have to do that. You know you didn't have to do that. Where's my lip liner? You know you didn't have to do that, and you know it was unnecessary. So I didn't really know what the confusion was about. However, that was a long time ago. That doesn't reflect on my opinion of him now. I have no opinion of him now. He is always there when his daughter is in danger, though, ready to fight. So I guess good for him. There. Next two characters. Now, Earth, where the fun is at. First character is Sue. I think she's cool. I think Sue is not afraid to step up to a fight. There's no cowardice. And even though that was Kuvira's whole thing, was like, she's a coward, she stood up to fight in every other instance in this show. Maybe she just didn't want to be a conqueror. Maybe she just didn't want to be a conqueror of a bunch of people and impose her beliefs on a bunch of people, ma'am. Anyway, back to my point. I respect that. I respect the not backing down from a fight, even if I'm like, why were you driving a getaway car? Like, why did you, it wasn't even the fact that she was driving a getaway car. I don't really care. It was the fact that she was acting like it wasn't that big of a deal. Like when Toph like almost arrested her or whatever was going to. I'm like, you don't think it would have been a big deal? I don't know how young she was in that. But I'm like, you didn't look 5. Like, you didn't think it was gonna be a big deal that the chief of police's daughter was driving was gonna get arrested for driving a getaway car? That was a little bit crazy to me. And that was a little bit, alright, maybe she needs to be talked to, some sentency put in there a little bit. However, this is my thing. Being banished, but like not banished at the same time, sounds like it could have been either eye-opening and or traumatic. And I think it was both. But the other option was prison. So, you know, I'm sure she had, I'm trying to figure out if she had, because she clearly came back very, very different, even if Lynn didn't really want to accept that. But I don't like, Lynn was doing, we're gonna get to her in a second. She was doing a lot. However, Sue was acting like it was just like everyone was overreacting or being like, what is the big deal when she did that? Girl, your mom, the chief of police. I don't like that. You think I like that? You think I like the fact that Toph became the chief of police? No, I do not. But she is the chief of police and you're her daughter, so it doesn't look bad. Anyway, okay, let me just move on to Lynn. Actually, let me finish with Sue. She's not afraid to back down from a challenge if she has a goal, and I respect that. I respect, even though maybe it was a little bit stupid, I respect them trying to just Kuvir immediately, not wanting to put anyone else in any danger, going in with ninja suits, going with a goal and going in and doing it, you know, that way, even though it did not succeed, putting herself in her crazy technologically advanced ass army. That was a little crazy, but it showed kind of a gumption to do things herself. I appreciate that. Lynn is so fucking dramatic. I love it though. It's the type of person who likes to act above the drama and likes to act above the antics, but by doing that is the most dramatic person in the world. Like, why are you, it's not that serious that you are so stressed out they send you to go get needles stuck in your arms and you're walking out of an appointment and this man who's doing some sort of procedure to you is like, please stay, you're gonna get very, very sick if you don't stay. It's not that serious for you to be so stubborn that you leave when the professional's telling you you're gonna get sick because sickness doesn't affect. No, it's not serious. My thing is, be stubborn all you want. He's telling you you're gonna get sick. He's telling you you're gonna feel horrible because you left your appointment midway. That stubbornness has to stop when it comes to your health a little bit. It has to stop when it comes to your health just a little bit, because Jesus. I really enjoyed, that was one of my favorite episodes of this whole show, was the episode just like about like their life and like not about their life but about like learning about their life and learning like why they act the way they do. Because I was like, why does she have a stick up her ass this whole time? Lynn is never happy ever, and I'm like, damn, at least Toph laughed. Why are you so unhappy? I found out why. Also, working to become the chief of police your whole life sounds kind of horrid. Did you ever have fun? No. Maybe that's why she was so mad. No, Sue did clock her. She said, you're mad because I have a life and you don't. You know you had ample opportunity to get a life. You didn't become a police protege at however old she was with that ridiculous outfit. Nobody forced you to do that. But you wanted to impress your mom, right? And then your mom left to spend her days in the swamp. So I know that hurt. And then it did. She kind of wanted to go off on Toph a little bit. And Toph was like, listen, I understand, I'm not the best mom. At least she acknowledged that. But she was like, please don't hate me. All right, that was an interesting conversation, especially since it was very clear how angry Lynn was this whole entire fucking time. And it kind of fizzled out pretty quickly. So I was like, so you really were just holding on to that forever. You didn't want to call her at all? You can't call someone on this phone. You didn't want to contact her? Whatever. That's Lynn. Next character is Toph. Still that bitch. How many years later? I don't know how many years later this is. I'm gonna go with 100, even though that seems like a lot. All the way later, years later, decades later, half a century later, I could have told you that, but I'm so glad it was confirmed. I don't care to understand. I don't want to understand this cop situation. I don't really even want to address it, because that validates this clear lack of watching of the first show you guys made. That showcases to me not a lack of understanding, but a lack of viewing. That's a lack of viewing the first show that you made. But let me refocus on what's important here. I was hooting and hollering when I saw her outline, because I said, I know who that is. I said, I know who that is. I know who that is. One of the happiest points, they saved the best for last. They sure did. They sure did. And she saved Korra's ass. Not only did they save the best for last, they had to save for when Korra was down horrible, because she saved her ass. Korra is too good at doing what she does, but she did need help. A lot of help. And she needed help from the master. The master. And that was tough. She needed help from 2 masters. She needed help. Katara had to heal her because it wasn't going to work if she wasn't able to do anything. And then she needed Toph to teach her how to operate with her body and bending again. Still, that girl years later will always be, I don't really care. I don't really care. I don't really care. Everyone talks, they saved the best for last. That's why that was done. So there's no really debating me here on who exactly is the best at what they do. They did have to draw out anticipation. They did that for one character. You know which character that was. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was tough. I thought it was funny that she was living in the swamp. That does make sense. See, so did you watch the first show? Did you not watch the first show? A little bit confused as to what you thought the first show said about Toph's personality that made you think Ka? I don't want to address that. That validates it. It never happened. It never happened. Okay. Now we can move on to like Korra's like the core group of people. That's what I'm gonna go with. Korra's crew. Her core. Whatever. I don't need to come up with a word with it. For it. First character we have up is Bolin. I think Bolin is so sweet. I think Bolin is so sweet. I think Bolin is a good person. First off, let me first address that Bolin is a lava bender. Bolin is a lava bender. You know, we were losing it a little bit over the metal bending and metal bending statistics, and he can bend magma. So I think that should have the conversation really quick. And if we want to get into rare abilities, you know, metal bending is a rare ability. Nobody's denying that, but none of you guys are discovering it at the age of 10. So you're not really gonna outdo the doer. Not really gonna outdo the doer. Sorry, lava bending. You guys can't even spell rare. You can't even spell undiscovered talent, because nobody else can fucking bend magma except that guy, and who knows where he is. So that's one. You know, I think Bolin is hilarious because he be so emotional all the time and then can throw down. You know, he had to learn the fighting was not the strongest. Like if we're gonna compare like Avatar crews from Avatar Last Airbender and this show, you know, they're a little bit weaker. It's all right. They got it together by like season 3, like the end of season 3. So I was fine with it. I think he really, like with my degree in the bending arts, I think he made significant improvements in the way he fought. Like by the time of the fight with Zahir, I was impressed watching Bolin and Mako actually, because I was watching them fight and like not lose too badly / kind of succeed against very clearly like niche masters of their elements. Like they're very good at what they do. They had to keep them caged in a specialized prison, so they're very good at what they do. I was impressed because they held their own. I was surprised, but I was also like, oh, well, I've actually seen some improvement, because before it was a little wobbly. It was a little bit. I was hoping that his, is it naivety? That's not how you say that word. Naivete? He's naive. Whatever the noun is for that. I was hoping it wouldn't bite him in the ass too bad, cause like, yeah, he got kidnapped by those people in season 1. I thought that was gonna be it. I was wrong. We really went when the full like, I'm gonna serve under the conqueress. That was definitely Why didn't we ask any questions, Bolin? Why didn't we ask any questions? Why did someone have to bring up, like, what happens to the towns after we leave? Why didn't we think of that ourselves, Bolin? Why didn't we ask any questions? Why did we assume Opal would forgive us automatically for working for the woman who kidnapped her family, but because of a picnic? Why did we think that would work? Bolin, why? What am I supposed to do with that? You came to your senses, but Jesus Christ. That was a detour into crazy town. That was a detour into crazy town. But you know what? Let me not, because Kuvira absolutely did notice that Bolin was like this. And that's why she wanted him on our team. She even said she needed Bolin on her team to help convince the other people because he's so sweet. Wicked. But I like Bolin. I think he's hilarious. Next character is Mako. If you go back and watch my season by season, my opinion on Mako has changed. Has it? Yes, once he left everyone else the fuck alone and focused on his own problems. I didn't mind him anymore. I love how in the Remembrance episode, he had to explain his foolishness a little bit. And he had to get he could have been yelled at a little bit more for his foolishness with Korra and Asami. He could have been yelled at a little bit more for that, but I digress. He really just didn't want to make any decision ever. He didn't want to make a decision. That's not, you're not protecting people's feelings by turning off your communication skills. You're lying, keeping secrets. Turning off your communication is not going to help you not disappoint people. You not talking is not going to help you disappoint people less. That doesn't make any sense. And you know that doesn't make any sense. You know it doesn't make any sense. Why date the avatar if you can't handle the fact that she's the avatar? And you can't handle the fact that she might disagree with you. She might want you on her side. Whatever. That's a little weird. But he did start to bother me significantly less when he left everyone else alone and focused on his own shit and focused on contributing to the fight against, terror. Doing that via cop was interesting. Cop, he became a glorified babysitter by season 4 until Kuvira started lighting everybody else up, so he needed to help. So I don't really, that's what you get. That's what you get. He does put himself on the line for everyone. I liked him by season 4. Calm down. He did put himself on the line for everybody else in that finale, and I do respect that because he didn't need to do that. He really didn't need to do that at all. He really didn't need to do that at all. He didn't need to try to blow it. He didn't need to use his lightning. He didn't use his lightning very often, but every time he did, it worked. So I was like, why don't we do that? I'm not a bender, so I don't fucking know. He didn't need to do that. So I'm fine with him now. Good man. Because you didn't need to do that. You really didn't. Because there was I'm gonna sacrifice myself to blow up this mega robot with this crazy ass arm. He didn't have to do that, so I'll leave him alone. My opinions have changed. They've changed slightly. Once you leave everybody else alone and don't bring them into your problems and make your problems everybody else's problems, we can get better. He needed to see what he was doing with Kai. He was trying to control Kai because he saw himself in Kai, but he had to, I guess, the hard way. That you can't do that with people. You don't have to treat people like that. You don't need to treat your former self like that. You don't need to beat your former self up like that. Because that's what he was doing with Kai. He was trying to be like, I don't want him to turn out like me, so I'm gonna treat him like a police officer instead of like an older brother, like a mentor sort of figure. Okay. But I'm fine with Mako now. I like Bolin better, but I am fine with Mako now. I think he's an enjoyable character. I've drank no water. I feel dehydrated. Okay. Next character up. My two favorites. Next character up, we have Asami. Asami is really that girl. She's really, I don't know, I'm gonna say I don't know if you guys will understand that. I don't know people's opinions on this show, but I don't know if you guys understand that she's really, it's just too much how her mind works. First of all, she fights with the Avatar's crew, Sans bending, with a shocker glove, and be actually taking down people on motorcycles, taking down benders herself with a shocker glove. What can you do? Nothing. And it's not just that. It's not just being able to hold her own in the actual fight. It's being able to use her mind and create shit to help them. Because she knows sometimes I don't need to be on the front lines with the mega death ray. I can be working on equipment so I can contribute to the highest degree. I don't need to be bothering people. I don't need to be just trying to prove myself for no reason. Understanding where we can contribute the most. Yes. Also a genius, very, very clearly and obviously. And she's been through so much at the hands of everybody else. She didn't deserve to be robbed, cheated, lied to by like 5 different people. That was ridiculous for seasons. And this is all after finding out that her daddy wants to be evil for a day. This was all after finding that out. Then Varric comes in and tries to blackmail her and then uses her insecurity in her relationship with Mako to make her mistrust, and that was a little much. Varric's very good at what he does. That was a little bit cruel because he knew that it was very obvious insecurity in their relationship, and he exploited that. He's funny though, so I'm gonna leave him alone for right now. But she didn't deserve any of that. Asami didn't deserve any of that. But you know, we're fine now. Is it still called Future? Whatever it's fucking called now. Is succeeding. You know, the whole town kind of is destroyed now, but it'll all be okay. She is very successful, and I know that's right. It was very clear from moment one. It's very clear from moment one when she was able to just take on her dad's whole business like that and not even really, it didn't really affect her until people tried to steal it from her and blackmail it from her, which was unnecessary. It was unnecessary because it was every season something else. Oh no. But I love Asami. My second favorite character? I don't know. I think Korra and Asami are tied. I'll have to think about that. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. And then the last character I want to talk about is the main character, the main girl who the show is titled after, Korra. I don't know if there is a Korra defense squad. I don't know if there's a reason for there to be a Korra defense squad. I don't know what general discourse over Korra is. However, if there is a Korra defense coalition, battalion, I would like to take my place as vice president. This is my sister, one. She's been through so much and is still that girl. Do you know how much, I want you to sit down and think about everything that has been thrown at her, Avatar Korra's way. Really sit down and think about it, because this is some really crazy shit. And the fact that she survived all of these attempts to kill her, to kidnap her, to poison her, she survived all of them, is something that we need to take a moment right now to sit down and appreciate. We need to take a moment right now and sit down and ask yourself, who the fuck else could do that? Give me any name. You're not gonna give me any name. That could go through everything that has been thrown at her and come out alive. You're not gonna give me a name, because there is no name. There is no other name. They have thrown, you know, they've been doing a lot of crazy shit this whole show. Every single season something new, every single season another crazy ass person, and then sub villains as well. Please, first of all, bending is taken away. She bounces back from that. She bounces back from being attacked viciously and then having the spirit devil beat the shit out of Rava into oblivion. Comes back from that as well. First of all, I would like to just take a moment to talk about metallic poison for a minute, because I don't even think I even comprehended this until I watched the season 3 finale like 3 times. She was doing all of that fighting, all of that just demolition, flying with fire while rotating boulders and throwing boulders. She was doing all of that while resisting metallic poison. I think we need to take a time. I think we need to take a time out. I think we need to take a time out, because if I know how the world works, I know she is not appreciated enough for this, so I'm gonna do it. That's fine. That's totally fine. I would like to say it again. Who else could do that? Who else could fight the way that she just did in that finale while fighting and then survive? The poison didn't kill her. What? Even Zahir was like, yeah, I don't know how the fuck you did that. I don't even know how the fuck you did that, because it doesn't make any sense. Because it doesn't make any sense, and it's raw power. It's raw power and it's raw strength, and that's what makes her that girl. That's what makes her that. I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it. It's not. It's so like she did the fighting, but I want to focus on the fact that she lived. Because I was like, she's gonna drop dead. She's gonna drop dead. She's been fighting this metallic poison this whole time. I was like, she's gonna drop dead. Oh my goodness. No. I mean, she almost did, but she is a survivor. She is a survivor. She lived, and then she like moved on. The way that they had her, like, I don't know, it's appreciate the right word, how they showed her like coming to terms with and like struggling and coming to terms with the fact that she was struggling. I really liked how they showcased that, especially having Korra being like this super tough like person who takes no shit like the entire time, to have her like come to terms with herself, to have her she's suffering, she's injured, and coming to terms with that and trying to figure out how to get through that. And then it doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make you like less than, and you still have all your value, even if something is like different. Because then it took her like a while to come to terms with that, because she was still like, I feel like I am not like the real Avatar. I don't feel like I'm not the person I was before. And are coming to terms with that. I really enjoyed that. Not enjoyed, but like appreciated showing that in a show like this. I think it's important, because a lot of the time you would just like, because before something horrible had happened, something horrible would happen to her. They really were like, we're bored. Let's play with Korra's life. Every single season, we're bored. Let's take away her bending. Let's attack her. No memory left. Like, look, every 6 episodes, we're bored. Let's make Korra almost die. Oh, okay. So I appreciated how they showed that in the last season. And then she learned that she has to ask for help, and she got some really good fucking help. She got from the best people. She got it from Katara and from Toph, so she got the best help in the entire world. I'm just gonna go back to her fighting like that. It's not just that she was fighting like that, and it's not just that she was poisoned, it's that those two things were happening in tandem. She was fighting that way. I was scared for my life. Her throwing cartoon rocks had me scared for my life, sitting in my room. And she was doing all of that while fighting back against poison that would have killed any other character in the universe. It's something that I don't even believe I'll be able to fully comprehend until I do another full rewatch of this show, because that is some sort of power that I really don't appreciate. I don't know if people do this. I don't appreciate slander. I don't appreciate, it doesn't make any sense, because why are you being a hater? Why are you doing too much? Because who the fuck else can do that? It's you can't bring up any of their names, because it's not gonna, I'm gonna laugh at you. I'm gonna laugh at you. The poison would have taken everybody else out. So they wouldn't be able to get any licks in. Certainly would not be able to nearly corner him while doing all of that. The only reason she couldn't is because there was fucking poison inside of her. So back off. I am now the vice president of the, if there is a core defense squad, I am now the vice president or treasurer. Maybe I should pay my dues first before I move up the ranks. But Korra is phenomenal. Korra is amazing. Korra is everything I could want and more. End quote. End quote. She's a go-getter. That's a word white people like to use. I don't like to use that word. But if they didn't mean it in, if we take out the derogatoriness of that, because white people say a lot of things like that. It's is the persistence the right word? Persistence? There's a word that I'm looking for. Resistance? Persist. It's a word related to that I'm looking for. That she just had. Such a, and then that also, I was watching this show and I was watching this show and I'm like, she's the main character. I'm like, yeah, she's the main, but she's like, the people who made this show, when you have women like Korra on TV, they're not main characters, or like they have to change in order to become the main character. They have to become like less of themselves and less, in some ways powerful and a little bit more toned down. And not toned down in terms of like, you don't always have to be like, she was burning sacred air temple fucking dividers her first day. Well, she's calmed down since then, but she has the personality didn't go away. She's toned down because some things are unnecessary, you know, outlandish anger is a little bit unnecessary. But I was just shocked watching it. I'm like, that's such a, because I'm like, you don't see, at least in the shows that I have seen, I was like, she's the main character. This like super tough, very physically, obviously physically strong young woman was the main character of this show for the whole time. For the whole time. And it wasn't even like someone else took her place. It wasn't even like they like made someone else to like even it out. I don't know what's even out. I was really like impressed when I like realized that. I was like, wow, like this is for like, I don't forget when the show was made, I think 2012. I was kind of shocked and I was impressed, bare minimum, but impressed, because I was like, I never see this at least, like at all. And I thought, okay, here it is. I was looking for my powder. I thought it was really refreshing to see on TV, or not on TV, on Netflix, to see that kind of female character being shown. Like, and she's the main character. She's the main character and was the main character the whole fucking time. And fought the whole fucking time. I really like that. I really like Korra. So I do really like this show. So let me talk about, I guess, my general thoughts. Yeah, general thoughts. In general, I really enjoy this show. I thought it was very, very fun. And again, not enough fun like it's terrible, but I enjoyed it way in an actual, like I really, really enjoyed the show. Like I was saying before, I was surprised that that's who they made the main character for the sequel. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's bare minimum, but I was like, wow. That's for like, because they could have gone a really opposite direction for like the sequel to Avatar: The Last Airbender, like for making him another main character. They could have gone in the complete opposite direction, but they didn't, and I really appreciate that. Like, she's a handful. She's not someone that you can, she's not. I like that. They also made her like kind of tall. They made her like built. I really like that. And I think it's a good thing, and I think it was interesting. I'm sure people think she's annoying. I don't know what you want me to do about that. Annoying. Oh, okay. You're not annoying? Not even a little bit? I know that's not true. I know that's not true. We're all a little annoying. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Back up. So was the ending satisfying to me? Yes and no. And I'll tell you why. Okay, so this, for the 4th season, the time jump, I was so nervous about, because I don't really like time jumps in a television show. When have I ever watched a time jump before, Amanda? Maybe it's a preemptive, I don't like time jumps, but I was nervous when I saw that it was a time jump. I said, oh fuck. Best decision they ever made. Best decision they ever made. I loved the fact that they were like years in the future, that they were older now. It was actually a very, very good choice, and it was realistic, because no, my sister was poisoned, and had to have the poison physically lifted from her, but she needed time to heal. And they didn't do any ridiculousness of giving her 2 weeks and saying, okay, back to work, because that wouldn't have made any fucking sense. So I judged too quickly. I really did enjoy the time jump. I really liked the time jump. I liked how, because I don't know if they just done it like right after, I feel like it wouldn't have been as satisfying as an ending. Like, we got to see them grow a little bit together. I liked that. I mean, you saw them grow in the first 3 seasons. Obviously they would like come consequently right after each other, but seeing it like years later and being able to see the growth, I really enjoyed that. That final, you know, 2-2-2 battle won. Maybe it was just me not paying attention. I don't think that's it though. But when that weapon behemoth robot thing turned the corner, my jaw dropped. What the fuck? I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not. I knew they were technologically advanced, but I was not thinking advanced to build a like 20-story fully functional bendable robot with a super weapon. I don't know, maybe I was not paying attention, and that's totally fair, but I was flabbergasted when that turned the corner, because who was I supposed to expect something like that? Please tell me, because I did not. I was floored, because I said, oh, they're fucked. I knew they were fucked because it was a super weapon, but I was like, when they said she's not gonna, the train lines were cut, so I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna like fly it in? No, she's basically working a robot puppet with a humongous laser. That was a little much for me. And that's why I was like, that's what I said, should I put her above Zahir and Guest? Because geez, how do you even come up with that stuff? For one, Kuvira's a weirdo. She's very good at what she does, but I don't understand messing with spirits. I don't really understand messing with spirits. I don't really understand messing with spirit vines like that won't blow back onto you. I don't really understand that. Also, she probably didn't care that like the spirit vines in Republic City, you know, like kind of went a little bit berserk. She didn't care, but like, what do we think was gonna happen? But I don't even think she was really like thinking about any of that. So that whole whole fight thing, you know, was interesting. I was just in shock from seeing that piece of technology the whole time. I was like, how did they do that? Like her fiance was that good at what he did. I wasn't. I guess I was mistaken. I guess I did judge a book by its cover, because I was expecting at most a blimp or an airship with the weapon on the bottom. At most. Then I heard stomps and I thought dinosaur, and then I thought wrong time period. That was crazy. That was crazy. The fight, you know, they ended it. Yeah, Kuvira, Korra's not a horrible person. She's not gonna leave you for dead. She could have, and she should have, but she didn't. You know, my sister has healed. My sister has healed and knows that we must all love and appreciate each other. We know the abrasiveness has gone a little bit. However, it's still there if you want to fight. It's still there if you want to fight. So I like that, you know, she finally surrendered. You had no option, question mark. You were defeated, but she was still trying to run away the whole time. She was like, you will not take me. You know, I have to respect. That's like what is that? Resilience is the word that I'm looking for. Resilience. That's what I wanted to talk about. Is that resilience or is that stupidity on Kuvira's point? Because where the fuck were you going? And she was injured. Stubbornness is very hurtful to yourself, not to anyone else. I mean, to other people as well, but like to yourself mostly. Okay, then for like their all like friendship thing, we saw them all grow together. It was so cute, and we saw growth together and separately, because Mako, you know, left everyone else the fuck alone and was able to develop into, you know, his own person. Working as a cop was definitely a choice. Bolin coming to terms with the fact that, you know, he did some fucked up shit, or he signed up to work with a fucked up person, therefore he co-signed a bunch of fucked up shit. Realizing that, I guess that was his whole growth. But I was really hoping the whole time. I was like, okay, since season 1, his naivety, that's not how you pronounce that word, his, you know, very picturesque view of the world was gonna hurt him. I don't know how badly. That is my bad. Because I did just say in season 3, I was like, Bolin's a king. Don't call men kings. Don't do that, because they're gonna do something fucked up the next episode. And then, yeah, Mako left Korra and Asami alone so they can, you know, be together or whatever. A lot of people kissed in that show, but they didn't. That didn't make any sense. I don't know. What year was this? 2014? I don't know when that last season aired. I don't know. I should have looked that up. Nothing. Walking into the spirit portal, turning to each other, holding hands, and then fade to black. I'm confused. I was a little bit confused. So that's why it's a yes and no for satisfying ending, because that didn't make any sense. But, you know, if it's crumbs, I guess I'll take crumbs, but I don't like eating crumbs. So that was ridiculous to me, because I was like, you can't, what was all of this whole season for? And like half of season 3, what was all that for? No, okay, I won't get into that right now. But now the question people are like asking or want me to say is, which show do I like better? I have to watch this show again to be able to give you a final answer. However, I think one, because of my age that I'm watching these shows, like I'm a young adult watching this show now. So I had a little bit more fun watching Legend of Korra. I think that's just because when you can relate to the characters because of like age or like stage in life, that does make things different when you're watching a show versus when you're watching a show about 11-year-olds. That's still really, really good. It's just different. Do I like more characters from this show? If I had to make a top 5 of my characters from like the whole universe, there would be more characters from this show than Avatar: The Last Air. That's just the way it is, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, but that would be just the way it is. So I would have more characters from Legend of Korra in my top 5 of the Avatar universe. tragic, but that's just the way it is. I have to rewatch like both. This is the thing, in order to you need time, because I also have to watch like this Blood and Water season 2 came out, and I have to watch that, and y'all keep talking about something squid games, and I want to know what's going on, so I will have to watch that show too. And then I was supposed to watch Insecure for the first time, because that's coming back like in October, which I think is tomorrow or the next day. Just, it's too much. But I do want to, because my answer, right, I don't want to give it. I don't think I can give an answer. I don't think it would be fair, because I've only watched the show once, and I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender like 2 times or 3 times. I had more time. It's when I had time to do bullshit like watch a show like 4 times in a row. But let me refocus. I loved this show. I loved this show. I thought it was very entertaining. You know, if I were to rank the seasons, 3, 4, 1, 2. I actually really liked season 4, so I might do 4, 3, 1, 2. 4, 3, 1, 2. I know 2 is last. I know 2 is last. That's all I know. I cannot take him seriously. I can't take your villain seriously. Season is bleh for me. That's personal. That's personal. Not everyone has to agree with that. But I do like season 3 and season 4 the best. I think I like season 4 actually a little bit more. I was so, because I went to my private and I was like, my mutuals on my private really like this show. I was like, a time jump? Ew. I had to retract my statement fully. I had to retract my statement so quickly, because it was actually so excellent, that whole 4th season. And I'm glad they did that. We have to move on with time. We cannot stay stagnant. We need to show where they will go. Because if they had just done a last season right then, I would have been like, well, what now? Well, what now? Where's my ending? So I appreciate that they did that. Okay. Those are my thoughts on The Legend of Korra after the first time watching it. I don't know if they'll change. If I go back and watch it, I don't think it will. I have my favorite characters. I don't think that's going to change. But maybe I'll like catch more stuff, because I did catch more stuff watching Avatar for like a second time through, like being able to like, because you know where it's going. I'm gonna do that when I have time. I have an exam in like a week, so we will see. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The Legend of Korra. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Okay, 1, let me know your guys' thoughts on the show, and 2, if you don't mind, because I know people like to watch video essays. I love watching video essays. If you have any good ones you recommend, because now I finished both shows, so now I can be I don't know if I want to become involved in Avatar Discord. Y'all be doxing people over cartoons. I'm sorry. Think about it for a second. Think about it for a second. Back to my point. If you have any favorite like video essays on either Legend of Korra or Avatar: The Last Airbender, now that I've watched both shows, you can leave them in the comments. I would love to watch them, because now I know what's going on, and now I want to add my 2 cents. Because I have a lot of sense to add. I have a lot of thoughts to add. So let me know. Also, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Who are your favorite characters? Blah, 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 blah. That whole thing. So yeah, that's the end of my video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, because that's not suspended, it should be down below. If you want to see my videos on like each season of Legend of Korra, that's on my Patreon. What else? If you want makeup that I'm wearing is all in the description box. It's linked, as well as these earrings. They're always linked down there. And that's about it. While you're here, check out some of my recent videos, which should be about on your screen right about now. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Hope you're staying healthy and safe inside your homes. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.